I'm Jonathan Carpenter. This is my last single, Sleep Paralysis, and Speaker for the Dead, the title track off of my new EP coming out, Speaker for the Dead. Come check out my set at Cluster Funk. I'm excited to be going down June 20th. It'll be a good time. Also stream my EP, Speaker for the Dead. Check it out. Follow me on Instagram at Carpenter Music or Twitter or Facebook or whatever you use. Yeah. In the meantime, keep throwing down.
Woo! Yeah!
That's a wrap.
That's it. That was it.
Tell us a bit about Jonathan Carpenter.
So, my name is Jonathan Carpenter. I'm from Dubuque, Iowa. That's where I grew up. I went to Catholic school. When I was younger, I did a lot of band and show choir, and I marched drum corps with the Colts in Dubuque. And that's kind of what started the kind of music interest for me. But I'd say I really kind of went crazy with music when I checked out My Chemical Romance when I was 13, like everyone else. I was hella emo, and now they're getting back together, and I'm so excited because I'm going to see them live. Let's see here. I went to University of Northern Iowa. I'm huge into punk rock. That is my main genre that I love. And I was like, oh my god, I want to start a band so bad. But I could never get other people who wanted to commit to it. And I didn't want to start a band without my brother being on drums, but he went to college in Chicago. So we were way apart, and I was well, I'm just going to do this myself because I had written some electronic music when I was in high school, writing with MIDI, and then I found Ableton, and I was wow, this really takes it to the next level. And so when I was in college, and I was I want to do music, that's what I want to do with my life, that's the direction I want to take. I got just a little MIDI keyboard, started writing, releasing stuff. I have 2 EPs out right now, and a 3rd one coming, hint hint. But then I realized, the best way for me to showcase this electronic music that I write is going to be for me to just DJ it. I just do my best to throw down and bring that punk rock powerhouse to electronic music as best I can.
How did you first get into music?
My first band that I ever really loved was My Chemical Romance when I was 13. I heard Welcome to the Black Parade, and I was just And then I started doing band when I was in 5th grade, and I started singing in choir in middle school because I was trying to get in with all the cute girls and stuff. Eventually I was oh wait, I'm actually kind of good at this. I really like this. And kept doing music into high school. I marched drum corps, that was a big influence on me. And performing and being the best performer that I can be. And then when I got into live performing more was when I got into college. Went to this bar in Cedar Falls called the Octopus because it had live music, and it had this band I really liked. They're called the Hex Girls, and they were just throwing down. And it's hilarious because I went and bought a drink and I didn't get carded on my 21st birthday. I'm of course. I'm the one day I want to be carded just to be look at that.
What's the best advice you've ever been given relating to music?
I'd say, I kind of said, drum corps was a big influence on me. I learned a lot of lessons about performing while I was doing that. So one of the big things was our director talked about the meaning of life is to inspire and be inspired. Also, if you're performing, have water so you don't get dehydrated and pass out. Also, when you get on stage, just throw down. Just give it your all. People have been drinking. No one cares. When you go to DJ, unless your brand is trying to be that cool guy, you gotta give it your all every time you get up on stage, because that could be the only time anyone might see you, and you gotta stick in their memory of wow, I remember that DJ. He was fucking amazing. Or I remember that band. Or I remember I saw a video with Dave Grohl talking about how when he drummed for Nirvana, he always talked about how after the show people would be did you see that fucking drummer? Shit. So that's my thing, is to throw down when I DJ so everyone goes, you see that guy? Holy shit.
What does your creative process look like?
So when it comes to creating things like music and stuff, it can go a number of different ways for me. Usually I like to find a sample I like and then start building around it. I've definitely had songs I wrote where I started with my drums and was okay, this sounds cool, let's see what we can do for that. Lately I've been doing it where I've been trying to make my own album art for some stuff. So I'll make a piece of art and be okay, what would a song sound like associated with this? Or seeing something and being creativity can come from from anywhere. I was at the Contemporary Museum of Art, and I saw a really cool video project that had like these boxes that closed and turned, and it was like really cathartic to watch. And like I could see that like that video itself might not be marketable, but I could see like maybe like a cinematographer could go in and like take something from that and be like, okay, how can I apply this to my film that's like marketable or makes a difference? So that's like what I do, where I see things other artists do and I go, ooh, okay, how can I... They're inspiring, they're back to that inspire, be inspired. They're inspiring me in some way. How do I take that and apply my talents of music to it? And then just make a song, put songs together. I like to make a live master and a streaming master. And then I like to, make art with it, get a little bit of promo stuff together, market it a little, and then just get it out there for the world to hear and market it after that, and then throw down. And then the best thing you can do is just talk to people who love seeing you and love what you do and, connecting with them.
Are there any hidden meanings in your music?
I don't know if I'd say I'm necessarily hiding any meanings in my music. Like, my thing has always been like, I don't know, people are awesome and that individuality and like, so I have a song called Corrupted that maybe is a bit of a depression meme when you listen to it, because it's got a lyric that's like, would all who wish to die please raise their hand? And that was written at a time when like, the whole Area 51 raid thing was happening. So my thing with my music is I always try to create stuff that kind of creates a space of comfort for people when things are difficult. So like for me, like that's what My Chemical Romance and Linkin Park and all that stuff did when I was in, middle school and high school. I wasn't exactly like a popular kid, and I didn't try to be, I didn't care. But like when you get picked on sometimes, you go to your music and you're like, all right, this shuts the whole world out and makes you feel good. And that's kind of what I aspire to do. And the meaning I try to give people is like, hey, we get it. Let's all have a good big hug and rave and feel better. Big cathartic feeling, kind of like when you throw down in a mosh pit.
If you weren't doing music, what else would you be doing?
I would probably be working in film more. So I did like a short film with my friend Ben Schmidt that we took to a film festival where I played a vampire hunter. So that was something. I've worked on a bunch of film sets before as like a production assistant. Yeah, it would probably film work because I did major in digital media when I was in college. So I tried to do a lot of film work. Now the thing is, college was not the best time in terms of doing film work, but like once I finally got on set, I was like, okay, I could see myself doing this. I like to perform in front of a camera or doing theater and stuff like I did kind of in high school. I like to act. Maybe I'll get into acting in the future. Maybe I'll be a DJ/movie star. I don't know. That'd be nice.
What differentiates you from other DJs and musicians?
I would say the biggest thing that I do different is that I come from a punk rock background. So when I did my set last night at the Rabbit Hole, I was doing, flips of like Green Day and Blink-182 and, My Chem and just a bunch of music I like. I like to bring it's just that energy and that rebelliousness and that catharsis that punk rock brings. Not to say I can't do like lean back, Moonbaton type stuff, like my song Fatal Error that I released on my last EP was a bit more laid back and chill in kind of a groove way, but still brings the energy, like a power ballad. So fun little story. So I saw Blink-182 for the first time last summer at Riot Fest. Me and my brother waited in the Riot Fest pit for them to perform, like through Dashboard Confessional, through Neck Deep, which both of those were like that wasn't even like a chore to wait, mostly just like the standing there, but those bands were awesome. And so we got like really close to the front after like waiting for hours, and Blink-182 comes out and starts playing, and the mosh pits, like my brother and I are seasoned like mosh pit people, but I never crowd surfed before. So the mosh pit starts going, but this is like a more extreme mosh pit than anything we've ever been in. It was moshing at first, then it turned to like sardines on top of each other, people falling over and stuff getting like dangerous. As they're playing through Enema of the State, my brother and I turn to each other and we're like, this is fucked. We're both like fucking dying in the pit. We're like up, and these guys are like, sure. And they like, strangers just boosted us into the air. And I'm crowd surfing for the first time to Blink-182 playing What's My Age Again. And I'm like 23, which is like the whole thing in that song. And I'm like, this is the best fucking moment of my entire life. And we walked around after we got to the front. I bought this shirt and then we left because I was like, I am literally dying right now. I was like, I love Blink-182, but like that was enough. I'm good. It was awesome though. I loved it.
What is one message you would like to give to your fans?
I guess I like to tell them, no matter how much stuff might suck, you've got music still. Things always get better. As someone who, I won't go into too much details right now, but like, as someone who suffered from like depression pretty bad, especially in like college and stuff, just hanging in there is really important. And things get really shitty, but like, they can't stay really shitty forever as long as like you make a point to do your best to make your life better. So that was my thing with coming into music, was I was like, I want to do something with my life and make it better through music. So I'm going to throw myself at this to like make something happen with it. So yeah.
What are your plans for your clusterfuck set?
Is probably more punk rock EDM combos, because I think that's going to be something that, like, it's not just like, I'm not just doing it to like set me apart. It's like, I love rock and punk and alternative stuff. And so I'm going to throw my originals down, but then I want to like, with DJing, it's like, you got to see the crowd and be like, okay, these people like this kind of music. So like last night at the house show, I realized people really liked the house music I was playing, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna zone in on this. But I still had like house, rock, EDM flips that I would throw out, because I was like, this is stuff that I like to listen to, and I'm sure you would like to listen to it too, And then biggest thing is bringing the energy. That's definitely gonna be something I do. I like to get up and out and interact with the crowd. I'm gonna see if I can make it so I have a long enough song that if the crowd is wild enough to jump into it, but we'll see if I can get them riled up that much. I'd like to. But again, we'll see. It depends on the mood, and time of day and all that, so.
A penguin walks through the door right now wearing a sombrero. What does he say and why is he there?
That would be something. I definitely have to say he's probably, like, the global warming is getting kind of nasty, so he's probably like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to take a vacation to Cancun. If I'm going to live somewhere warm, it's not going to be somewhere warm with a bunch of ice. It's going to be somewhere warm with a bunch of babes and sand and, like, a good time, So he's wearing a sombrero out of, like, cultural respect, probably. He's not trying to be, like, the stereotypical, is that the right word? Type deal. He's like, you know what? I'm going to embrace the culture with this sombrero. And he's like, I'm going to have a good time and enjoy I'm going to sip some sangria while I'm sitting on the beach.